Why does it keep going back to mute? This is these computers. I tell you, we think we've got it. Anyway, welcome to Win TV. I'm your host, Denise Rollard Barnes, and welcome to spring. Hopefully, you all really enjoyed that weather here that we had here in DC yesterday. I understand it went up to like 84 degrees, and so that's just a hint of the weather that's yet to come. It's a little rainy today, but still a nice day. And it was interesting. I got to talk to Chevy a little bit, but I was watching one of our local stations this morning. They took a poll on those who plan to go and see the cherry blossoms. Now, I'm a big cherry blossom fan. I'm hoping next week. I was going to put on my ears, but my little cherry blossom thing, but that might not be too cool, but I'm going to get something back there behind me that was reflective of the cherry blossoms. I am a big fan of the cherry blossom parade. Can't wait to go to the parade. And it's interesting how Washingtonians, a lot of times, we just don't want to go. So going back to that poll, can you believe it, Chevy? 94% of the people that took that poll said they do not plan on going to see the cherry trees. And 6% said that they were. So I get it, because we just don't want to deal with the traffic and the people and all the stuff that we have to deal with. We're so glad that they come to Washington, D.C. to see the beautiful cherry blossoms. We ought to have some pictures up right now, but we'll do that next week. But again, I love the parade, particularly when I can root for some of our local high school bands and others that are participating. So, take advantage, come out and do something, that helps us to celebrate the city. And, the mayor just issued her budget this week. I think it was this week. So we really need to count or encourage folks to come and visit our city because we need that tax revenue. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting back talking about how much it's really going to cost us as things go forward because the resources that we have so long depended on won't be there. So one way to do it is just to tell folks to come on down, participate in the cherry blossom events. Oh, and the other thing I was going to mention too that hopefully we'll cover that you all can learn something about is the National Museum of African American History and Culture is doing their, Afrofuturism exhibit. I heard it's really cool. If I get a chance, I'm going to go down this weekend. I'll take a couple pictures and we can share them with you all next week. But put that on your calendar too, to go to the National Museum of African American History and Culture and see the Afrofuturism exhibit that's going on right now. You'll see in the what festival?
Kite.
Oh, the Kite Festival. Oh, we're going back to cherry blossoms now. The Kite Festival. It's fun for kids. And a lot of our kids really have never flown kites. Can you believe that? So yeah, you can go get a little cheap kite from someplace. It doesn't have to be all those big ones we're going to see on television, but just to show and to go down and have some fun and let them run around and try to keep this piece of paper in the air with this long string. And so that's the Kite Festival, and that's going to be down near the Monument Grounds. Like I said, there's a lot going on. If you're stressed about the traffic, just it is what it is, but it's a time to enjoy. But anyway, again, I prolonged my introduction because I was supposed to be talking about the weather. Not much to talk about there. And also, gosh, Chevy's right. Allergy sufferers. I'm feeling a little congested right now, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. You know what we can do? This is what a lady told me in the store the other day. Put your mask back on. We don't want to wear these masks. We're so glad to take them off, but do you realize how much it really does help to protect us from the whatever is growing out there that's causing us to have this congestion and runny noses and itchy eyes? May not help the eyes, but will help the sinuses. So put those masks back on, at least while you're outside. Maybe you'll feel a little better. March is also Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that later on the show. But also, it's good to go ahead and get that, that exam, which really, I believe is I won't give you the details of what you can do to make sure that you're in good health from the colon standpoint. But if you haven't visited your doctor, if you are having some problems, do not ignore it. I said who I am. I'm Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer, and I hope that you have had a chance to pick up a copy of this week's Washington Informer. We had we had our spelling bee on Friday evening at the Prince George's Spelling Bee. And we have a wonderful young winner whose name is Leslie Hernandez Martin. There's a story here about Leslie, and she did a great job in the spelling bee, and she will be representing Prince George's County in the Scripps National Spelling Bee that will take place in May. We also had the Washington Informer DC Citywide Spelling Bee on Saturday. Can't tell you any more about that until we announce the winner, and the winner has been chosen, but we can't tell you who that is. So when we can, we're going to want you to watch on the Officer Cable Television channel, OCT FME, and the DC Cable channel to see the entire spelling bee, and then you'll get to know who the winner is. It was a great spelling bee, and you won't want to miss that. In addition to picking up the copy of the Washington Informer on newsstands all across the city, you can also read the digital edition online at WashingtonInformer.com. Again, that's WashingtonInformer.com. So make sure you go there and see all these great stories. Our fearless, as our editor likes to say, our fearless journalists covered this week. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and hit share so your followers can see the broadcast. And if you're watching on Twitter, be sure to follow us and we'll follow you back. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Washington Informer TV. That's one word, no spaces, Washington Informer TV. And like I said, subscribe. It really does help us. It's good to see the numbers going up slowly, one by one, Chevy, but they are going up. And so we do want you to subscribe. We're going to have some really great programming as we move forward throughout the year. We've got a great program today, but I just want and try to do our best to bring you informative, entertaining, and substantive programs. But we are looking forward to having so many more. So it helps to subscribe, and we certainly do love having you as a subscriber. Our guests today are the DC Healthcare Finance Medicaid Director, Melissa Bird. Got some great or necessary news that we have to share with you. And so Melissa will be here to make sure that we get the word out so that you can get the word out about Medicaid. We also have author Kendall Lanice, known as the Remix Coach, and she'll be with us to give us some words of motivation. And last but not least, Tony Lewis, founder and CEO of FAME, the Foundation for the Advancement of Music and Education. If you've got any talented young people in your household that play musical instruments, you want to hear this because auditions are opening soon for the FAME program, and Tony's going to share details about that. So before we bring on our guests, let's watch our weekly news broadcast by Curtis Knowles.
This is WIN TV News, bringing you the news that matters. Black Press Week culminated with the National Newspaper Publishers Association, or NNPA, President and CEO Dr. Benjamin F. Chavez delivering the State of the Black Press. Chavez, Reverend Mark Thompson, NNPA Chair Karen Carter Richards, and other NNPA board members presented Thompson with the 2023 NNPA Global Newsmaker of the Year Award. During his address, Chavez unveiled the new NNPA World News app, which contains global news items of interest to African Americans. In the State of the Black Press address, Chavez declared, quote, "In the growing digital age, the Black press of America today, in 2023, is advancing and making steady progress to engage in the necessary technological innovations to ensure the future viability and sustainability of the Black press of America for the next 100 years. Afterwards, more than 30 NNPA publishers and journalists followed up the address with a special White House visit. After serving more than 3 decades incarcerated for a nonviolent drug offense, on the first day of the spring equinox, Tony Lewis Sr. will get to smell the cherry blossoms as a free man. His son, Tony Lewis Jr., who has dedicated his career and activism to fighting against mass incarceration, emphasizing prison reform, and working to reverse his father's life sentence, took to social media to share the good news. For years, people have been following Lewis Jr.'s fight for his father and the Free Tony Lewis movement. Talking with the incarcerated, Lewis Jr. said, quote, "They've guided my work, informed my work, and held me accountable," he said in April 2021 as he prepared to host a Free Tony Lewis rally, one of the many events Lewis Jr. held over the years to raise awareness about mass incarceration statistics and to garner more support surrounding his dad's case. The International Criminal Court, or ICC, has issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin. The court alleges he is responsible for war crimes and has focused its claims on the unlawful deportation of children from the Ukraine to Russia. It says the crimes were committed in the Ukraine from the 24th of February in 2022 when Russia launched its full-scale invasion. Moscow has denied the allegations and labeled the warrants as, quote, outrageous. It is highly unlikely that much will come of the move, as the ICC has no power to arrest suspects and can only exercise jurisdiction within its member countries, of which Russia is not a part of. However, it could affect the president in other ways, such as being unable to travel internationally. In a statement, the ICC said it had reasonable grounds to believe Mr. Putin committed the criminal acts directly and as well as working with others. It has also accused him of failing to use his presidential powers to stop children from being deported.
Thank you so much, Curtis. And before I bring on our guests, I just wanted to go back to something Curtis reported a few minutes ago, and that was about the new NNPA World News app. While we were talking, because I almost forgot to do it, I just downloaded it. It's really easy. So just go to the App Store, look for NNPA World News app. You can download it, and it should be a great. I know Dr. Chavis has been talking about creating an app for NNPA for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm so glad, and congratulations to the Black Press of America, the National Newspaper Publishers Association, for launching this app. So I encourage you to go to your app store, download NNPA World News app, and enjoy an experience of news that's a little different than what you're going to get on those other news apps. So now that I've said that, let's welcome Melissa Bird, the Medicaid Director for the DC Department of Healthcare Finance. Welcome to WIN TV. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing great this afternoon. Thanks, Denise. It's wonderful to see you today.
Great, thank you, thank you. You know, I was, as we were saying before the show, I'm glad that you're here with us because I've been hearing a lot about, you know, the job ahead of you, this information you've got to get out to DC residents, over 300,000 of them. And I said, what can we do to make sure that we help on our WIN TV platform? So if you could just tell us first a little bit about the services that your office or your department offers, and then we want to make sure that folks know what your message is today.
Great, thanks, Denise. So the Department of Healthcare Finance is a district agency, and we administer the public health insurance program. So Medicaid, the Alliance Healthcare Program, and the Immigrant Children's Program. You folks who are on Medicaid may better recognize us through AmeriHealth Caritas DC or MedStar Family Choice or Care First. Those are our managed care plans. But through the Medicaid program and the Alliance program, we provide access to healthcare services. So like being able to get prescription drugs at no cost or going to see the doctor for no cost. If you need hospital services, maternal health services, well child visits, all those kinds of things are covered. Along with other services such as transportation to your doctor's visit, things like that. So just generally speaking, it's health insurance for district residents at without cost sharing. So no cost. It gives you access to the care you need.
Wonderful. And the headline today is,
don't wait to update your contact information. So what's changing now is one of the great things that we can do through the Medicaid program and did over the past 3 years is that when the COVID pandemic hit the nation and the district specifically, is we were able to stop doing something, stop asking people to renew their coverage every year. And the reason we did that is that we wanted to make sure, you know, during a pandemic that folks did not lose coverage and access to really important COVID tests, treatment, anything else during that period of time. So across the nation, all Medicaid programs, we were able to stop doing that annual, you know, come back into us and check your eligibility. But that's about to end at the end of this month. So starting April 1st, we start renewing Medicaid eligibility again. And so what that means is that individuals will need to come check in on their Medicaid certification and make sure that they're giving us all the information so that we can confirm their eligibility. But first and foremost, going back to don't wait to update, things change over 3 years. Sometimes things change over a day. But if you've moved or changed your phone number information, it's really important that you let us know what your current address is, what your current phone number is, to make sure that we can get this important renewal information out to you to make sure you don't lose coverage if you're still eligible for the program. And you can do that by going to districtdirect.dc.gov. One of the great things that has happened during the pandemic for us is that we do have the ability for district residents to now access their benefits online. So you can go to districtdirect.dc.gov, you can download the app, or you can, if you still prefer and are used to calling us, you can call 202-727-5355 and update your address, your phone information, just that basic information so that when we start sending out notices, they get to the right place and your renewal packet can get to the right place as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, you raised a couple of questions for me. One is, you kind of implied it, you don't want residents to lose their coverage. And is that what happens if they don't recertify?
Sure, exactly. So if you do not recertify your coverage, then yes, you are at risk of losing your coverage. One of the things that we can do is that a number of folks in the Medicaid program actually won't have to do anything. We have a new renewal process called passive renewal, which means through our system, we can touch base with a bunch of other systems to get the information we need to renew someone's eligibility. And that individual has to do nothing. And they'll know if that's their case because they'll receive a letter from us that says, congratulations, or great news, your coverage is renewed and you have it for the next year. For folks where we can't do that, you'll get the renewal packet in the mail. You will receive it either 60 or 90 days before your coverage ends. And then 30 days before your coverage ends, we'll give you another notice to say this is about to happen. And so we ask folks, as soon as you get that mail, or even if you're unsure of when your coverage may end, reach out to District Direct, call us and confirm that end date and respond as soon as possible to make sure you don't have any interruption in your coverage.
The one thing I don't want to say, because there's a sense of urgency here, I understand, but you've got time to do this. Yes. But so, weigh that for us, why people should do it now and not wait.
Sure. I think the best reason for folks to not wait to update is just to make sure we do have that contact information. Obviously, we can't tell you what you need to know if we can't reach you. And so if we have that information now, whether you'll receive a notice from us in a couple weeks or 6 months from now, just depending on when your eligibility may end, at least you have the confidence to know it's going to get to the right place.
And I was also happy to hear, as we talked before we went on the air, all the partners that are working with you, the school system. I guess there are others that are working with you to make sure that this message gets out.
Exactly. We're working with all of our key stakeholders. So, of course, our other district agencies. And like if you need some assistance filling up out your application and you're a senior in the district, you can go to a senior wellness center. Our providers, of course. So if you're going to the clinic to see your doctor for your annual checkup or your kid's well child visit, they should have some information and can tell you as well. And then, of course, working with our partners such as DC Public Schools in order to get the word out. So we're really trying to meet people where they are and get information to where they are. And then in addition to that, folks will start seeing bus ads. We'll be doing robocalls and text messaging to Medicaid beneficiaries to say, hey, don't wait, update your information, and then wait for something from DHCF in the mail.
And we're talking about close to 300,000 people that you're trying to reach to get recertified?
Yes, we have about 300,000 district residents on our Medicaid program today. That's about 50,000 more people than when we started back in March 2020 with the pandemic. So it's not 300,000 different households. Obviously some folks have multiple family members in a house that may be on the program, but still it's a significant number of individuals.
Yeah, quick question, and people that know would know, but what qualifies you to get Medicaid?
Sure. There's a few different ways that you can qualify for Medicaid, and the most common or probably best known is through your income. So most district residents, if you are at about $30,000 for income over the year or less, you're likely eligible for the program. And then some folks are eligible for the program because of their age or a disability. And so it's a combination of those couple different things.
And what about citizenship? Is that a requirement?
For the Medicaid program, citizenship is a requirement. Medicaid is a federal government, state government jointly run program, and that is certainly one of the requirements. However, in the district, we do have the Alliance and Immigrant Children's programs where you must be a district resident, but you do not have to be a lawfully abiding citizen of the United States.
Okay. All right. Well, this is good, Melissa. I mean, every day we wish we could reach 300,000 people with the Washington Informer. So I'm gonna have to call you to find out how to do it. But we want to do our part at least to help. We know that we can hit some of those folks that need to know this information, and we're really trying to do our part to make sure that your job is easier to get all the check marks off. To say, job well done. We got at least close to that number, and I'm assuming that you're want to get them all.
We want to get everyone who is eligible. We want them enrolled in the program. It's a great benefit to folks. Healthcare is extraordinarily important, which I think everyone knows. It's been, obviously greater importance we've seen over the past 2 or 3 years with the COVID pandemic. But yes, our goal is that if you meet our eligibility requirements, we'd like you to be enrolled in the program and getting the healthcare that you need.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much for coming on the show today. We may bring you back, particularly at those key times of the year when people are like, back to school time, which we talked about earlier, what have you, so that we can continue to help to get this message out. But, you can count on us to do that. All right. You have a great one.
You do the same. Thank you so much, Denise.
Surely. All righty. We're going to move now. And please, if you heard this message and you know somebody that is on Medicaid or is eligible, please make sure you share this information with them. And then not only share it, but then check back with them to say, did you recertify? It's important that they do this. So, each one bring one, each one recertify one, each one can do something to make sure that no one in our community is caught off guard and unable to get the medical coverage that they need from this program that provides free medical services for those who can't afford or within a certain income bracket. And that includes a lot of children as well as a lot of seniors. So we want to make sure that everybody gets recertified. Moving on now, I want to bring on Kendall Lanice. We continue our celebration of Black women in history. And as we know, Black women are traditionally resilient and overcomers. And we could go down the list and talk about those women that we admire. But I'm going to add one to the list, and that's Kendall Lanice, the remix coach. Welcome to WIN TV.
Hi, it's Kendall. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Well, thank you for correcting me, because that's one thing I don't want to do is get a person's name wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
it is
Kendall,
quite all right. I've gone through it my whole life. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. And I'm loving it. Boy, we're going to have to get you on for our sustainability environment show, because you got a lot of greenery in the background.
Yes,
and I love it.
I love it too. I love it. And I have my blue ribbon. I know we're going to talk about a lot for colon cancer awareness. My shirt says someone made for me, colon cancer warrior. So I'm ready. And life coaching and woman, all that.
Yeah. So I talked about colon cancer a little bit earlier, and we will talk about that because I don't think my intro was really the best, but I knew you were coming on. So I can leave that up to you to really give us some details. But tell us about the work you do, Kendall.
Okay. As a transformational life coach, this is my assignment, my life's work. I've been doing it over 20 plus years. I'm the remix coach, and as well as a transformational coach, healing and aging coach. So what a remix coach is simply at any stage, age, or phase in your life, you can remix it. You can pivot, you can change, you can alter, you can transform, whether it's your career, your spirituality, your relationship, your romantic relationships, friendships, family, kinships, all of that. And I encourage and inspire people to do that, to remix their lives. And I often say that remixing your life is a matter of life and death, and it saved my life many of times because, life continues to life.
Yes.
And you either can sit still and get ran over, or you can pray and get back up and continue stepping as you've been doing. And a lot of people, it's not just for women. Oftentimes people think that life coaching is just for women, but no, men also, and children.
Yeah, I particularly, I'm not talking about me, but maybe I am. But I like the fact that you even talked about the aging process,
Yes.
because how we've lived our lives, we've done spent time in our careers,
Yes.
and we're living much longer and
Yes.
healthier now, many of us, and so you get to that point where you're really can have an honest conversation with yourself about what's next, and that's where you get stuck.
Absolutely. And I'll be 52 years old in June. And
Congratulations.
thank
Okay.
you so much. And colon cancer survivor, today, Denise, is a special day. And it's been emotional because 2 years ago today, March 24th, 2021, 2 years ago today is when the surgeon called me and said, all the cancer is out of my body.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
it's today.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad to hear
yeah,
that, and I can understand why you're, somewhat emotional about that, because
yeah.
before that you got another call, and just to know that you transitioned from, two calls with two different messages, completely different. One you probably prayed really hard for. I'm glad that your
Yeah.
prayers were answered, and the doctors knew what to do. So tell
Yeah.
me, talk a little bit about colon cancer. What do
I
we
want to
need to know
first
about that?
say, Denise, I didn't get a call.
Oh,
They told me on the spot, and this is why I'm an advocate for getting your colonoscopies. God knew who to save because he knew I wasn't going to keep quiet.
uh-huh.
I got a routine colonoscopy. You know how they used to say, and they changed it since May 2021. They changed it to 45 and over. But when I was diagnosed with colon cancer, it was 50 and over, and I
Hmm.
hadn't even reached my 50th birthday. I was about to turn 50s in June, and this was in March. And God was like, you need to go now. And if I didn't, I would not be here talking to you. I really
Wow.
believe that because I got the colonoscopy and it was so evident that I had colon cancer. They told me at the appointment, I think that's what it is. I'm 99.99% positive, but we're still going to do a biopsy. And when the doctor told me that, he said, well, just wait. And then when you get it in the car, I went into action mode. I was like, okay. I said, first, when he was telling me, I said, so what do I do? He said, well, you're going to get surgery to remove the cancerous part. And then they're going to take some of your colon out and then they're going to reattach it. So I was asking all, and he said, so when you get in the car, you get home and it really, sinks in your mind, I want you to call and make your surgery appointment. Well, Denise, I made my surgery appointment in the car. One of my good girlfriends took me. I was like,
They say, I don't have time for this. Let me get this done.
right. He looks at colons every day. So if he tells me in his opinion, and I knew, and Denise, let me tell you, if somebody would have told me years before, if I was diagnosed with cancer and someone told me that, I would have thought I would have passed out, fell out, screamed, cried. I was unbelievably calm and still
Hmm.
under disbelief, but I still went into an action. So everybody, it's so important to get your colonoscopies because I was walking around with cancer and didn't know it. I had
Well, that's
stage,
what I was going to
yeah,
ask you, Mendel. You didn't have any symptoms. Nothing
no,
seemed
7 out
unusual.
of 10 people have no symptoms.
Wow. Hmm.
It's silent. You can walk around. I was walking around. I don't even know, Denise, how long I was walking around. Because, and I remember when I told my mom, who I wasn't going to tell because I didn't want it to be a death sentence. I didn't want I was using discernment, like who do I tell?
Hmm.
Because, oftentimes when people hear cancer, they're already planning your funeral.
Yes. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
my mom kept saying, well, what stage? I was like, it doesn't matter. I have it. I'm going to go through what they say go through so I can get it removed. And she was like, but what stage? I didn't even find out until after my surgery. I had carcinoma of the descending colon stage 2. So that was going early. Had I waited that whole calendar year until I was 50, who knows?
Wow.
Treatable,
Yeah.
preventable, but you just have to go to the doctor.
Yes, yes, yes. And we are not good necessarily at getting our screenings. But knowing, and I say we're not good, maybe I'm talking about Denise, but but it's really important, and that's one reason why we want to use this program as a platform, just to remind people
Yeah.
of the importance, and having overcomers like yourself, and to talk about how serious this is, but how I guess is the word is curable.
Yes,
Are you
it's
cured?
beatable and preventable. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just by when you go to I have to get off of here in a few because I have a doctor's appointment. So it's so important to make sure you keep up with your doctor's appointments. Make sure you ask questions. I teach people often what questions to ask because most people don't know. And then if you go to the doctor or if you go to a new doctor, because think about it, I've been going to my doctor for 20 something years, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe and then when you do your initial information, you want to make sure that things are updated. You want to make sure they're asking the proper questions, because if you're that same old patient, they're just going to keep going through your chart.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a new patient, you may not know what to ask about colon cancer. And because I share my story, someone inboxed me on Facebook and said, you know what, because of your story, I insisted to my doctor that I needed a colonoscopy. They kept saying no. And she said, I kept insisting. And finally, I'm getting my appointment. And that's huge because most people have white coat syndrome, whatever the doctor says, or if they say no the
Exactly.
first
Mm-hmm.
time, they leave it alone.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's so important to be an advocate for your health, whatever that looks like. It's better to push to get the testing than to not get it and just leave it alone. And then you look at Chadwick Boseman and Natalie Desselle Reid from BAPS and so many, Cleavon Little, so many different people. Colon cancer, Kango Kid from the old school rap group UTFO, who was diagnosed 3 weeks before me, had no clue that I was walking into Women's History Month. Like, it's Women's History Month.
Yeah.
5 days later, I'm diagnosed with colon cancer in Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And to my ignorance, I didn't even know it was Colon Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah. Yeah. That's well, we're really glad that you're here with us. Kendall, where are you located?
I'm in Maryland.
Okay, so you're right in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, Sherry asked me to ask you that, so that's why I was trying to figure that out. But let me ask you now. You've written a couple of books.
Yes,
I know you said you have questions, but tell me how people can, what the books are. Oh, there they are. Okay, tell us about them.
Thank you so much. So the green one is my latest book. I'm proud of that. And the purple one, so the green one is, Your Unhealed is Showing, Healing Purposely and Aging Fearlessly. So a lot of the root issues that we have as people, as adults, are rooted in our unhealed spaces. And sometimes they show up as personality, like this is that person's personality, but it's really the unhealed that's showing. Emotional wounds, parental wounds, psychological and emotional abuse. It could be childhood trauma. It could be friendship and kinship hurts, spiritual hurts. It could be a lot of different things that the healing, that's the root. So once you start unpacking what you need to heal and really taking a look at yourself and evaluating you, right? You realize, you know what? I can recognize it in myself. And if I can recognize it in myself, then I can go ahead and change that. But you got to feel your feelings first in order to heal whatever is going around in your life, because, you can walk around with blinders on, you can walk around with a mask on, but at the end of the day, if you don't address your healing is going to address you. It's going to address you at work, in your relationships, in your friendships, and you're going to look around and you're sitting there by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to do
Yeah.
that.
So you,
Yeah.
and then I know these are on Amazon, but tell us about the other two. They both.
The other two, The Best Gift Ever, Guide to Loving You, Learning How to Live Your Best Life. That was my first empowerment book. And that's learning to love yourself, flaws and all, whatever it is, because people always talk about, I need to, live my best life. But what does that look like when you're not even in touch with who you are and embracing all of you? And growth, and grace, growth, glow, and grace is being better, wiser, and more fulfilled in the life that you have. So it's important to really do that self-work, Denise, and not point the finger this way, because when most people point the finger this way, the thumbs are always pointing
back.
back at us. So it starts here.
How long was your journey with your battle of colon cancer?
God healed me and gave it to me all in the same month.
Wow.
March 5th, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. March 18th, I had my surgery to remove the colon cancer and to remove a part of my colon. And March 24th of, this is all 2021, is when I got the news that I was colon cancer free. So I had a new lease on life. I could barely walk. Part of my colon is removed. Different things are going on, but I'm still here. You know what I mean? So it's just so important. And people hear that like, oh, it's miraculous. Yes, it is. Doesn't mean that I didn't go through my struggles. I've had 3 colonoscopies in the last 18 months to make sure. I have to continuously get them. Some people don't have to go for 5 years, 10 years, but I have to go. And it's important to me about gut health and what I put in my body, what I ingest, even stress, a whole lot of different things. So although I valued life before, it's a little sweeter now when it comes to life and who I allow around this.
It's important. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I really want to thank you for taking some time to spend with us. I know you have an important place to go, an important
Yeah.
person to see.
Yeah.
I hope folks will go to Amazon and purchase 1, 2, or all 3 of your books. Keep writing, and we want to make sure that we have information out there in case people actually do need a life coach. They need someone to help to inspire them to get through the journeys that they're going through. So we have your social media links here, and we wish you well. We wish you well, Kendall. Thank you for coming with us, and our prayers are with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It means a lot that you gave me this opportunity to speak about colon cancer awareness this month and Women's History Month. As Black women, we are resilient. We are kept, and we remix our lives many times over. And thank you for allowing me to share my books with you. It's so important that we start here and leave the legacy of healing for our families.
No question. Well, we did our homework, so take care. All right. Yes, boy, that was inspiring. And it is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm glad that Kendall Lanice was here to share that information with us. And when we get those, times when we have to get those tests, I will say, full disclosure, I had my mammogram yesterday. All is good. So I'm happy about that. And I think, we need to share that with each other as a way of encouraging each other to go out and get those screenings that are so important. Thank you, Nicole, for your great comments. We are glad that you're watching today. So we're going to go on now and bring on my friend. Tony Lewis is also the founder and CEO of the Foundation for the Advancement of Music in Education, also known as FAME. Tony, how are you?
Hello, Denise. I'm doing well. What a
Good.
great segment right before me.
Blessing. Yeah, I tell you, we can't talk enough about health, right?
That's true. Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially as we get younger.
Yes. As we get younger, and bringing you on, for me, music is sort of one of the great healers,
Absolutely.
So absolutely. I love somebody asked me the other day, what kind of music do you like? I said, just play it. Whatever it is.
I'm with you on that.
I like. So, tell me or tell us, our audience about fame and just, I mean, all the years that you put into this training young people in music. But give us the history.
Well, it's been a while. Like you say, it's been 19 years this year. Actually, that the organization has been in existence. In July, we celebrate 19 years. Fame was a dream of mine back from the time I was in college because I did a music appreciation class back at DC Teachers College. And during that session, I realized how important music was and had been in my life, whether I was at church or whether I was in school trying to sing, and I mean trying to sing. But I knew that music had a great impact on me. But I became a teacher. I was a teacher probably for about 6 months, and then I went to the U.S. General Services Administration, which gave me a great career, which helped me to help with my parents. But I decided to retire early from GSA in 2005 because I had a lifelong yearning to do things with young folks. I helped other nonprofits, but I wanted to do something with musicians. Now,
Mm.
I'm not a musician, but I had several of my musician friends who helped me to get and bring this to life.
That's
Uh,
what's so fascinating about this, Tony, that all these amazing young people that have come, through you and that you've mentored and what have you, and you're not a musician yourself. So,
exactly. But I tell
yeah.
people, I don't believe that you have to be everything, but if you have great people around you, like
Hmm.
some of the folks that I have, the educators and the musicians who came together with the same purpose, that we want to support these young people and advance them. And because it's music, it makes it even better.
Oh yeah, no
Yeah,
question.
exactly.
And when you say music, I mean, we're not talking about, the singers or what have you. We're actually talking about young people that know how to play instruments. And my son, who you have mentored as well, when someone asks what instrument you play, he says the computer. So you don't mean that.
Absolutely.
You're talking about real, pianos. And tell us what you all are training these kids with.
Yeah, we have three programs, and the Fame Jazz Band program is one of our programs. We just started in 2015, which I'll tell you more about. But we also started by going into the schools and supporting a lot of music directors and teachers because a lot of the schools didn't have the equipment, or they needed support because the classes were either large or they just needed help with the number of children that they had. So we had a lot of success with that. We've been doing that since 2004. And then we have a major summer music program that we work with our partner, the University of Maryland School of Music. We do an amazing summer program there for like 2 to 3 weeks where we talk about music technology. We teach them music
Mm,
technology, which is what your son was really involved in, where he was actually creating music, writing music, producing music. We also did the instrumental intensive, and then we would do the vocals as well. So the jazz band started in 2015,
mhm.
and that's where we actually have like one-on-one. It's a year-round program where we actually take the children and teach them their instrument, be it sax, drums, whatever their choice is. That's a jazz band instrument, and we prepare them to perform any music. But we do that through the music theory. They have to be able to read music, and a lot of our students aren't able to read music. When I say our students, I mean
Yeah.
in general. Um, but that's one of the things we focus on is teaching them music theory so that when they want to go to a big band and a major stage where you don't see a lot of youth of color or people of color, they can read the music because when those productions come to town, they give you the music and you need to be able to play it. No one's going to play it for you so you can play it. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. Music instruction, academics is a major piece for us right now, especially right now. But that was the other reason I started it. Music and the academics come together very strongly.
I know I'm looking like I'm distracted, but I'm almost wishing that I had shown Cinta Chevry a clip that I have from the jazz band that performed at Blues Alley.
Yes, yes.
Your Christmas program, it was amazing. The kids got standing ovations.
Thank
It was
you.
a wonderful, and you do that annually, right?
Yeah, we do an annual Tis the Season holiday event. We did it this year at the University of Maryland because we have a CD. We did a holiday CD. Our
Right.
students produced, wrote, arranged the CD. And that was done at the University of Maryland. And that will be done every year as well. And we have 2 CDs now, by the way. I have to make sure you get both of them,
Oh
Denise.
yeah, no, I bought them all when I was
Oh, great. Oh, great.
last
Thank you.
time. I think you did an event, and also again at Blues Alley, which I think it's good that they have allowed to do that performance as well. Now you're going to be recruiting soon, right?
Yes, we're in the process. We're in the throes of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, we extended the audition application period till April 15th. I'm sorry,
Good. Okay.
until March 31st. The
Okay.
auditions are on April 15th at the University of Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're looking for some great students. I must tell you, Denise, this area has so many young musicians that are either in a music school or not, and we want to capture all of them, and especially the ones who don't get that training, that formal training in school. So we support homeschool children, public, private, it doesn't matter. We just want to get them in there so that they can become academically sound, because we make a lot of our students come out with very high SAT scores because
Mm-hmm.
we do one-on-one tutoring with them.
So do they have to live in any particular area? DC, Prince George's? Where are there any qualifications?
Yeah, right now we've extended it to the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So
Okay.
we're accepting students from all over, and we're getting applications in, which we're very happy about. And they should be middle and high school students.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, middle and high school youth. And they should have at least a couple years of music training on their instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And then some kids come in with more, which is great because we can actually take them to another level. And some are beginners. So last year we started what's called the music uh, in training, musicians in training.
Mm-hmm.
These are students who aren't quite ready for the big band, but we can see from that audition that they have the talent, and with a little bit more investment by our organization, they will get there. So we're recruiting for the big band as well as for musicians in training as
So
well.
are there any costs involved?
Well, first of all, there's an application fee of $50,
Okay.
and that's done at the time of application. They apply online through our website, which is famemusic.org. All the information is right there on the homepage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a year-round program, as I mentioned earlier, and they only pay like $200 for the whole year. But the value of the program exceeds $9,000 per student because it is year-round. We take them from September to July, and they do one of our actual major performances, as you know, for our anniversary.
I know, and it's wonderful. And what I've seen, I like sports, right? I played a little bit, but
Okay.
one of the things I really enjoy about it is to see the camaraderie among teammates.
Yeah.
Somebody scores a basket or a touchdown, they come back, they hug,
Right.
they
Right.
just are really into it. That happens at Fame as
Yes.
well.
Yes, it
It's
does.
amazing to see how when one of your musicians may have that solo moment and just
Mhm.
how the rest of the musicians around them really encourage them and afterwards saying, that was spot on. I love that. Talk about that a little bit.
It is a team effort because, as Dr. Knight always says, the least player, okay, affects the entire band. So everybody works together to make sure that everybody is on the same level. And what music does, it gives them a way of communicating their feelings and emotions with each other. And through that, it encourages them to play even better, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah. Another point about music is that music develops concentration in general and the organizational skills. For example, when they're reading that music at the rehearsals and practice, they're developing focus. So it's not just getting up and just playing music. There is a lot going on because music is math. So when you see those music sheets with all those little music notes and everything, these are things they have to do and calculate in their head ahead of
Mhm.
time before they get to that note and also be able to express that feeling. Yeah. But yeah, there's a camaraderie amongst our youth, and they're very supportive, and I'm just very excited about what I see developing as we go.
Tony, how do you support this program? Because you're not charging a lot. The registration fee, like you said, is application fee is $50. How do you support the program?
We support it through support from individuals. There are a lot
Hmm.
of folks who send us donations on a regular. They may decide they're going to donate $50 a month for the for the year.
Mhm.
We're writing grants all the time, writing grants, federal, state, local, foundation grants, and just by having people to donate instruments, new and used instruments, and we have so many partners. I mean, you're one of our partners, okay? You help us get the word out, and we're very happy about that. That we could not afford otherwise. We have the University of Maryland, who has been a partner since 2011, the school system, Maryland Park and Planning. So it's all of those in-kind items that really helps us to provide the quality level services that we do every year.
Before you go, I have to share with folks. And if you, I don't do much on Facebook, but every now and then I'll put something up there. And I went to see the Michael Jackson performance or play or on Broadway on Wednesday. Snuck away to do that with my husband and mother. And the star of that play right now is a young person from Prince George's County. So
Exactly.
when you talk about the talent, but can you name or maybe celebrate a couple of your musicians that have, gone on and made names for themselves and for fame?
Well, there are several, you're right, and some you all may have heard or may not have heard. We have, for example, our first group of college graduates from the jazz band are coming out now. We just had we've had two. They're in the architecture school. That's what I was going to tell you. 100% of our jazz band students graduate and go to college.
Wow, nice.
70% of them major in music. It could be in music production, music performance, or education. And then we have about 30% who major in business, architecture, or engineering. We just had a graduate from Berklee College of Music, Julian Wilson, who was on the show, I think a year or so ago, and he's doing music production. We'll be going to California pretty soon, working with a lot of artists there. He's doing that here now. Also, Langston Hughes, the second, who will be graduating in May from Howard University, who's become a professional musician and will be moving on with his professional career. And then we have so many others that are doing, like majoring in medicine. Those things you'll be seeing and seeing on our website and other activities that we're sending out.
I know it makes you proud.
I am very proud. They're just like my children, and they know that. I tell them, no matter how old they get, they still are. They still are our kids. Yes.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being with us. Again, let's give the information out one more time. I know the time is short. You only have a couple of days for folks to submit those applications, but can you just, and we have
Yes.
it on the screen here, but
Oh,
share it with
okay.
us.
Absolutely. Please send the application for your middle and high school students to famemusic.org. On the homepage, the information is there. If you need to call, 301-805-5358. Denise, there's one thing I want to mention if I have another second,
Yes, you do.
and
Can you
that
give the
is
number one more time? Give us the number first.
301
Mm-hmm.
805
Mm-hmm.
5358.
Okay.
You mentioned music being being therapy as well. And I must tell you that is what kept Fame going during COVID. And our students today talk about the fact that if they didn't have their instruments
Mm.
to play and their music, that they don't know what they would have done, because there's so many mental situations right now, mental challenges that
Mm-hmm.
students are facing. But the music was their friend, and they were able to be successful.
I can see that. I can see how it would have been, makes, I'm sorry, I didn't pick up an instrument during that time, but it's never too late, right?
That's true. That's never too late. Never too late. As a matter of fact, we're going to be going over to Harmony. Fame's opening up a satellite office, its second, at Harmony Hall, probably towards the end of the spring. And hopefully we'll be able to give lessons to people like you, Denise, later
Oh,
on there.
I've always wanted to tackle the piano, but and I've tried. And anyway,
We have a piano for you.
okay, all right. Look forward to that. I look forward to
Okay,
it.
thank you so much. And thank you for what you do for the community and young people, and especially nonprofits like Fame.
Sure,
Keeping
sure.
our
We're
words
here
out
for
there.
you. All right, and thanks for being here for our children
Thank
too.
you.
All righty, have a great one. So that brings us to the end of another edition of Win TV. I hope you've enjoyed the program. And we are going to, oh, thank you. Yes, my mom just said she's on and she's saying, God, as an octogenarian, my mammogram was negative earlier this year. Let's give her a round of applause. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's play, and she's a very healthy spirit. So, it means a lot to take care of yourself, which he does. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Before we sign off, we want you to watch this week's Black Women in History video by Curtis Knowles. Enjoy your weekend. Sneak down to see the cherry blossoms. You know, they have some over here at Oxen Run Park and other places in the city, but the largest cherry tree group planting is over here in Ward 8 in Southeast. We're going to get out there and get some pictures and share them with you. But anyway, have a great weekend. Go down to the museum. Have a lot of fun. We want to hear more about it next week. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you here next Friday. Now for Curtis Knowles.
Marianne Rogers Croak was born on May 14, 1955 in New York City. Her father built her a home chemistry set, which inspired her to pursue a career in STEM. After 32 years at AT&T, Croak joined Google in 2014 to spearhead efforts to expand what the internet is capable of around the world. She led a team that brought broadband to developing countries in both Asia and Africa. Last year, she was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Croak became one of the first 2 Black women to ever receive the honor, alongside the late Patricia Bath. A lifelong innovator with more than 200 patents to her name, Croak most notably developed the Voice over Internet Protocol, a technology that has innumerable and important uses in our everyday lives, including making remote work, such as Zoom calls, possible. The Sylvia Ruth Foundation hosted its first gala to benefit local students. The foundation was founded in 2021 to honor the life of Sylvia Ruth Bird. The organization's inaugural gala was held on March 18th at St. Timothy's Episcopal Church in Southeast D.C. Sylvia spent much of her life donating time, resources, and more to both Howard University and the District of Columbia Public Schools. The foundation's first gala raised more than $10,000 through tickets and a silent and live auction. Bird's niece, Beverly Lathan, and a board member of the foundation, said, quote, "Miss Sylvia Ruth loved to read to first graders, and so we like to continue that tradition by supplying and supporting the teachers' rooms with a library."